Hey, what the hell's going on, you guys? This is Super Play Negative AE, and welcome back to another episode of Higurashi When They Cry. Last we left off, we'd finished pages 1 through 4, and we're on page 5. So this is the last page, and we're going to click on this rectangle and finish this off. Move the mouse. Well, finish this off, as in get to the end part. This is the school? Shit, this is the sticks. Keiichi, don't say stuff like that. The people in this area love this school. That was my first impression of the Hinamizawa school. No matter how I looked at it, it doesn't look like a school. It even has a sign that says Hinamizawa Forest Service. You're right. We were borrowing the building from the Forest Service. The principal laughs. Although it doesn't look like it, it is in fact a school. The rules may be a little different from your previous school, though. Are you going to be okay? Yeah. I heard all the grades are put in the same classroom at this school. I didn't believe it, but I think it is really true. They're all younger than I am, so I guess it'll be like kindergarten. Actually, it'll be interesting compared to my previous school where everyone looked the same. If you transfer here, you'll be the oldest boy in the class. So you'll have a good role model for the younger students. The younger students have tendencies to copy bad habits of older students. I'll be keeping my eyes on you too, just to make sure you're aware of that, okay? I understand. I'll do my best. Keiichi. What she means is that textbooks aren't the only things you learn from. As a member of class, you're also as an older student, you have to be a good example. I know that already. After that, Chie-sensei brings us into an empty classroom and tells me where my desk is. Since we're still in the growing stage, I'm sure our sizes were very different. And there are some small desks that are way too small for me to even put my legs under, and also some that are just perfect for my size. I see approximately 30 desks, but since all grades are mixed in, I'm sure it's lively. I see a wall full of calligraphy and art from different grades. They all look exciting. It's nothing like my previous school. It reminds me of the days when I truly enjoyed my school life. Dad, I like it here. I like this school better than the other school in the town. I think my son likes it here. I want him to go to the school too. See, the school in Okinomiya has more resources and better teachers though. Even though she says so, Chie-sensei looks happy that there'll be a new student transferring here. My father and the teachers go back to the teacher's office and get the transfer process going. In the meantime, I stay in the classroom and look around. I didn't care about the move. Lost the will to live because of what I've done. I didn't have any willpower and I couldn't get out of bed. So when my parents told me about the move, I thought that wouldn't change anything. But after the move, that changed. I wanted to restart my life. I wanted to restart my life and become someone I've always wanted to become. Here in Hinamizawa and at this school, I can do that. I'm not going back to who I was. I'll never again think that good grades are the most important thing in this world. I have a feeling that I can learn the things that are really important in life here at this school. I never had the chance to learn them previously. They are almost embarrassing to put into words. But they are extremely important, and if you don't learn them, you won't be a decent adult. The students at this school learned them a long time ago. To them they are a given. Yet I have to spend some time learning about them at this age. How to make friends. How to play with friends. How to play. Things you can only learn from play. Things like socializing with others, etc., etc. It seems so easy, but it'll take me a while to learn them. That's because I pushed these things aside and devoted myself in studying. I'm not trying to say that studying isn't important, but you shouldn't become blinded by it. Someone says studying and good grades are the most important things in life. He's talking bullshit. I can restart my life here at this school. Finally, I can become someone I've always wanted to. I see two girls looking in through the window. School grounds must also be a playground for the children because I saw many children playing there. I guess those two noticed me walking around the campus and became curious. I guess that's natural. I'm a stranger to them. Should I say hello and let them know that I'm starting school next Monday? Finally! We've been waiting for so long. Ow, ow, ow. But this will change things. Because Keiichi is the 6th of the die. Yes, he is, but his die rolls a 1 too often. Not Keiichi's fault, though. It's all your fault, Hanyu. It's your fault. Apologize to Keiichi. Oh. Huh? Do you know my name? She said my name, didn't she? Did I hear it wrong? Never heard it before. Wait, do they mean... Hold on. Did I just came across something. Are you a new student? Wait, did she manifest herself in this dimension because she realized that if she was not part of the whole thing, because she decided to be like an entity just watching, she would never do anything? But now, in order to make it the true, they need help from everybody, so she actually manifested herself into the story. Take care of me, okay? Sure. They actually are putting her in. Oh. I think I get it, dude. On the first day, be careful when you come through the door to the classroom. Also, there'll be a thumbtack on the chair. There'll also be a toy frog on your desk, too. But even with the warning, Keiichi falls for it again and again. Your Monday is going to be disastrous. Poor Keiichi. That's why it's fun. But why don't you cheat fate sometimes? You'll be the one to teach us that. In one of many worlds, right? Huh? I will be reminded of the prophecy made by the two girls next Monday by a double-toothed girl. I'll realize it too late, though. But I like it here. I am Meibara Keiichi. This is my new beginning, and this time, I'm going to enjoy it to the fullest. I've been missing out on so much, but I'm going to learn all those things here. I'm going to assimilate everything, and I'll become the someone that I've always wanted to become. It may take a very long time, but I'll do it. Alright, we are done with all the blue squares. Well, so far. Does that mean I can just start clicking on stuff on this next screen? Or is it still going to crack if I don't? We changed music again. I think what happens is around the halfway point, it like changes music, and then when you get to the end, it changes the music. Alright, here we go. We can pretty much do any of these, right? Board game must be set up. Well, most of them. Just click on the first one. This piece can't be connected yet. Great. What about this one? Great. Okay. I think this one is the one, that one. That's the one that's gonna activate. Alright, here we go. We're in the end game now. Grandfather's articles were trampled. There is a proof as clear as the pathogen of Hinamizawa syndrome. Why can't they believe? They've never heard of it? They can't imagine it? It just can't be possible? I don't care about that. I don't care about the limit of those commoners' understanding abilities. Why won't anyone believe the truth of my grandfather's article that has been proven by the EDA Institution? Why do people believe humans are a special species, or existence? Humans are just simply a species of animal. Even when the existence of parasites that control their hosts is confirmed, how can they declare parasites that use humans as their hosts don't exist? That's not so. That isn't it. Because everyone believed in my grandfather's article up until now. Isn't that why the Health Ministry and the Department of Defense lend me their assistance? But all of a sudden they turned cold. In other words, everything was because of Father Koizumi's back shield. So nobody really read my grandfather's article? Did they just pretend to praise the article to make Father Koizumi happy? What is the meaning of everything I've done up until today? I thought I accomplished everything, but what have I accomplished? I don't know. I don't know what is going on, and all I can do is to be sad. The more I think about it, the more I lose the meaning of my life. Didn't Takano Mio devote her life to be useful for my grandfather? Then I haven't done anything. Count 3 with my grandfather, and I go on to count 4. What a crazy thing to say. I don't know. I let my mind water criticism towards me and my life slip in. I fill the gaps in my heart with alcohol. Is it strange to presume that the existence of something that can control human thoughts? It's true that the Hinamizawa syndrome isn't the cause for the birth of ideology. The best it can do is make patients to be deranged. Socialism or capitalism doesn't come from it. During the era my grandfather was living, you couldn't talk about the world without ideology. The article came from that time and age, so some may be exaggerated or unbalanced, but that's not a reason to deny its foresight. You can't simply say it's crazy and push it aside. And what? And the most important thing is that that Furuta Rika, the queen carrier, holds the fate of that village. My grandfather has always predicted the importance and dangers of the queen carrier since the beginning of the Hinamizawa syndrome research. But the hypothesis, if the queen carrier dies, is that if the queen carrier dies, the infected colony breaks down. The Pandora's box that can't be proven. It can only be confirmed after Furuta Rika's death, and when she dies, it's too late. But there's no mistake that Rika Furuta is the queen carrier, a very special existence. And it's clear from various experiments that she has a special influence on infected people. Her death could trigger the collapse of the entire village. There's no mistake about it. Because my grandfather predicted it and he wrote it down. To say it's all like a comic book story, that's too cruel. For them to call the previous preparations we have made in order to avoid the worst case scenario, a fictional project was used to create tunnel funds. Just too cruel. What I'm doing now is simply a continuation of what my grandfather was going to do. Therefore, to insult my research would be the same as insulting my grandfather. According to my grandfather's article, the first thing that needs to be done in order to start the research is to protect the queen carrier. But they ridicule that the most. The more I think about it, the more I'm reminded about those insulting words. I can almost hear those voices, and I can't stop myself from covering my ears. I'm sure the members of the board of directors think I'm crazy. I was going to appeal the continuation of the ADA institution, but it backfired. The members must think that Hinamizawa syndrome is something funny, and I'm sure they will push even harder to stop the research. If that happens, then I will have to go back to researching it as an individual. That would be the same as what my grandfather did. There's a limit to what an individual can do in a research. It is even questionable if I would be able to go back to researching it individually. If the EDA institution is disbanded, a duty of confidentiality for all the involved works appears as well. I signed the contract, not just a simple promise. If I were to break the promise, a special unit like the Mountain House would come after me to make sure that I kept everything confidential. Even if that doesn't happen, the EDA institution is to eradicate the Hinamizawa syndrome within a few years and bury every trace of it, including the research results. This isn't research and treatment. They want to pretend like nothing ever took place. I want to continue and complete my grandfather's research, but what's happening is the complete opposite. I'm actually helping to eliminate my grandfather's hard-worked research from this world. The treatment has been created already. Although EDA is as passionate as me about developing a cure, he sure is very passive about any other research. I hate to admit it, but he has more accomplishments than talent. More than accomplishments and talent, I'm sure I'll come up with a plan to defeat the Hinamizawa syndrome within 3 years as requested by the new board of directors. The board of directors will provide enough funds to bury the Hinamizawa syndrome, and EDA will bury everything, including the existence of the Hinamizawa syndrome, happily. just like the time he disposed of all the research data of his medicine H170 as requested. All I can do is hinder them passively while I watch Idia and the others eradicate the Hinamizawa syndrome just like they did once to me. And then, when everything is over, I will finish an article which is destined to be destroyed. Would I kill myself with those thoughts in me so I can at least present it to my grandfather? He won't be happy even if I did that. On the contrary, he'll be disappointed in me for throwing a research he spent half his life on down the drain. He won't embrace me, I know that for sure. I wanted to announce the Hinamizawa syndrome to the world. I wanted the world to acknowledge my grandfather's great work. I wanted to carve his name in history and promote him into a god. My grandfather waited and believed that day would come, and he must still be waiting patiently for that day to come even after entering eternal sleep. And I ruined it. I wanted him to become a god. I was going to become a god myself too. And then we will be together forever and I'll never have to be alone. If I become a god, God won't test me. There won't be any unhappiness or sudden train accident. My grandfather won't go away, nor will my father Koizumi. I'll never have to go back to being alone. I am alone. I have no ally. I was just dancing in ecstasy on the stage without anybody watching me. When I realized there are no applauses, only ridicules. No, it's doubtful that there is actually anybody else in here in the first place. My parents died, my grandfather died, and Father Koizumi died. A god played around with me with his die for 3 times. I thought I overcame it each time with my own strength, but I didn't. I was protected by my next guardian each time. And this time I have no guardians who will protect me. When I first arrived in Hinamizawa, I had every intention of challenging God and kicking him off his throne. But now, forget challenging God. I'm just a loser being played around. All of a sudden, I don't care about anything. Because if I cared about anything, I would be swallowed by sadness. I soak my heart in alcohol so I don't have to care about anything. Luxurious black car stops next to me suddenly. I become sober immediately because that reminds me of a time I was captured after escaping from the orphanage. Suspicious-looking men in black suits and sunglasses get out from the car. I think instantly. He must be sent from one of my client masterminds, being involved in the department of a biological weapon and the main person responsible for it, and on top of that, I'm mentally unstable. They obviously don't want me walking around freely. Wait, she's just like, yeah, I'm mentally unstable right now. I thought they were going to abduct me, weld me into a concrete block and erase my existence. I bet they're going to grab me and shove me into the car. But surprisingly, they bow deeply toward me. Are you the vice administrator of the EDA institution, Major Takano Mio? Normally, I guess. But I'm just a drunk loser now. There's someone who would like to meet you. Would you please come along with us? Even if I refuse, you're going to take me, right? I'll be killed anyway. I can't make my grandfather's wish come true even if I live. I say with cynicism. And the person in the back seat says, we won't force you, but I'm sure we can help. I've never met this young woman. She's probably my age, I think. She knows about the EDA institution, so she must somehow be connected to my clients. She's too young to be a client herself. I bet a client who doesn't want to come out sent her. Even if I live, I can make my grandfather a god. Or I can't make my grandfather a god. Can't be a god myself either. Who cares about this loser who gets killed anyway? I make up my mind and get into the back seat. As soon as I get in, the luxurious car starts smoothly. Silence fills the car for a while. They are the ones who invited me. I don't have anything to say. Long time no see, but I'm sure you don't remember. I passed by you at the funeral of Koizumi-sensei. Oh, you did? Sorry, I don't remember. There were so many people at the funeral, so I don't remember anybody. Why is she greeting me that way? Does this mean she is with the Koizumi faction? Koizumi-sensei has been active as an opinion leader in the recovery of post-war Japan. To talk about today's peaceful Japan, we must mention Koizumi-sensei's accomplishments, which, when we were rebuilding the country from post-war barren fields, the willing ones of our nation were monolithic, but unfortunately the same can't be said now. A peaceful time, continued by a generation who knows nothing about the barren fields, continues to enter the core of the nation, and the number of those who knows about such noble wills decreases. As the final elder of the noble comrades, Koizumi-sensei was the central support who guided us into the 21st century. After his death, the Koizumi faction faltered quickly. In exchange, other factions were extending their influence, and things are a mess, right? I heard about these things from Jiro-san. This is no different from the Civil War period. When a lord or military leader dies, competition to become a successor takes place, bringing chaos into the country. This country hasn't changed for hundreds of years. Exactly. Unfortunately, although peaceful Japan has managed to build itself a comfortable country to live in, at the same time it has forgotten the noble wills of its beginning. Various factions are fighting in Tokyo over the seat of power left behind by Koizumi-sensei right now. If Koizumi-sensei is all the deceased servicemen find out about this, they'll be so disappointed. What does that have to do with me? Aren't you the biggest victim? You have experienced plenty yet sudden changes in the wind direction, haven't you? It is true that this research began because of Koizumi-sensei's support. It's also true that the contacts from the anti-Koizumi faction have been cold and intense. Maybe for them, every project Koizumi-sensei left behind must be an eyesore, but more than the actual contents of the research. In other words, they didn't simply reject the contents of the research. Come to think of it, something like this happened to my grandfather too. Koizumi-sensei brought various authorities in the fields. They talked down to my grandfather despite all the praises from earlier. Koizumi-sensei told me that the pressure from the masterminds caused that. The research of the Hinamizawa syndrome is the biggest among the Alphabet Project. It's not too much to say that it's the project's #1 leader in terms of funding, organization, and everything else. Therefore, your research has been made scapegoat by those people who want to monopolize the interest of the Alphabet Project. Scapegoat? What I want to tell you is that the research of Hinamizawa syndrome isn't what was denied. The faction of the project is important to them, not its content. I wanted to tell you that today. In the end, I'm just a sacrifice goat put up for everyone else to see, huh? It doesn't matter what I research. The only thing they cared about was that this research belonged to the Koizumi faction. That's correct. The faction is the wind direction. Sometimes it's a tailwind and sometimes it's a headwind. Unfortunately, once the direction changes, it's extremely difficult to bring it back. Are you saying it's extremely difficult to bring back my clients who are against me now? That is correct. The Alphabet Project has been taken over completely. All the directors have been replaced and they're only interested in fulfilling their own desires. They have no intention of listening to your explanation from the beginning. I grasp onto my knees and remember that humiliating day. Let me change the subject for now. What is the objective of the research to you, Takano-san? That is to fulfill my intellectual curiosity. Isn't it the promise you made with the late Takano-sensei you looked up to as your grandfather? I'm startled. Koizumi-sensei once told me that this fact could become a hindrance, so I never told any of my clients about that. How did she find out? If they know that, maybe they know a lot more about us than I think. What did you hear about that? Koizumi-sensei told me. What? We're not your enemies. Please relax. We're here to help you. I don't know who she really is, but I know she's here because she really wants something from me. What does she want? She knows about the relationship between my grandfather and me, so I can't be careless. But in order for us to help you, we have to have you tell us the truth. In other words, we want you to be honest. I don't know what you're trying to say. What is your true purpose of the research of the Hinamizawa syndrome? To have my grandfather's great work acknowledged and to have him become a god. Isn't it to have the world acknowledge the late Dr. Takana's research and get revenge against those who trampled and looked down on your articles your grandfather wrote with all his heart? I'm at my limit trying not to show the shock on my face. How much does this woman know about me? Who is this woman anyway? How does she know everything I'm thinking? But I can't admit that out loud. That's dignity. But while an angelic smile appears on this elegant woman, she smiles in devilish whisper, then more skillfully than me. I'm gonna make a guess. I'm gonna make a wild guess and say that it's Mion's mom. I don't know why I'm guessing that. Just because I think it would be one hell of a twist. Like if I was writing it, the character that they have not talked about in like 5 years. Well, that's not true. It just feels like it's been a long time because it's taken me so long to play. But I feel like they just have avoided mentioning her for a while. So like the most logical person for it to be right now is either her mom or if I don't know if Hanyu can like change like her form on like how she looks. I think that would be pretty crazy too. Like Hanyu's like behind it. I kind of assumed that at the end of the last one, I think. I don't know when I assumed it, but I assumed like that she was like she was the evil one before. I think that would be interesting too. But I don't know. This could be someone completely new as well. Or Meibara's mom. Because I haven't really messed around with her. We've talked about the dad a lot, but the mom's kind of been like, what does she do? What is she doing? Right? There's no mention of her really. So if she's running a secret life where she knows all about everybody, like I could see that. This woman can read my deepest thoughts, and while doing so, she's testing me to see how honest I can be. Whether I speak the truth or not isn't the issue here. She's testing me to see if I can show enough trust to confess everything. If what I'm saying is a complete misunderstanding, please forgive me. We'll take you to the nearest train station. Would it be Gogura Station? But if what I'm saying is somewhere close to what you're feeling, I think we can help each other. What do you think? Takano Mio-san. Can't say anything in this reply, but I think the silence means an answer. Because I want to hear what she wants from me. I have always made an objective, a vague one with abstract expressions, such as turning my grandfather into a god. But she has taught me what my true objective is. My objective is to get revenge against my grandfather's regret. I want those people to fight over and read those articles they once laughed and trampled on. I want them to believe and worship every single word my father left behind. That's my true objective. This woman has repeated that out loud, which I have only whispered within myself. She even asked me if that is correct. Is this woman an angel or a devil? If I'm a human, then is she something above that? Your misfortune is that you didn't understand your objective. That's why you couldn't achieve anything. You set an abstract goal like uncovering the mysteries of the Hinamizawa syndrome that couldn't be achieved. So you couldn't help but question your own life. Isn't that right? That's wrong. Your true object or dream isn't that abstract. Can you imagine? Imagine the scene. The top leaders of this nation are reading your grandfather's article while being shocked at its contents, and all they believe of it, they believe all of it without even a hint of doubt. Those people humbly read the article with the footprints on the back. They express their respects at the insightfulness of the research and tremble in fear. What do you think? Were you able to imagine? This is my first time imagining something like this. This has been my dream. Your grandfather is the one who created the name Hinamizawa syndrome, right? It will also echo in every corner of this nation, and the name your father created will be carved eternally. Will be carved eternally? That's right. That means raising your grandfather's work into an eternal existence. Isn't that the dream you've devoted your whole life to? Your grandfather's work will remain carved eternally. It will remain eternally. Yet those pigs who couldn't understand turned your dream into a sacrifice simply because of the faction conflicts and the scramble of our interests. They are trying to trample it into the ground. Just like how they kept trampling your grandfather's article. See? You're full of regret. The data you've worked so hard for. That's right. The same as the article your grandfather did his best to create. You can't forgive the people who laughed at it. Can't forgive those pigs who ridiculed your grandfather's great work, right? Isn't that right? I know it is. But you didn't think about that because you're so kind and you didn't know any words to condemn people. See? An indescribable emotion fills me. I feel like I'm suffocating. The feeling of being cautious and at peace, and trust and mistrust are all mixed together. My heart is pumping and my fingertips are trembling. Why am I at peace? Is it because she reminded me of my true dream that I couldn't express with my own words until now? Also, is it because she made me aware of the anger within myself? Why do I feel the doubt? Is it because she reminded me of things I never told anyone until now? No. Those are the things I never even told myself. Yo-san? If what I'm saying isn't wrong, but actually completely correct, I know I can help you with your dream and revenge. What's wrong? Are you feeling okay? If that's the case, I shouldn't keep you. We'll take you to the nearest station. No. A small voice leaks out from my mouth pathetically, like a small child apologizing for a prank. Did you say something? Person likes to hee-hee a lot. We're dealing with a prime Michael Jackson. I know she heard me. The woman smiles and tries to make me say it again. No, I'm feeling fine. I'm glad. Let's continue. Can you imagine Michael Jackson's in the backseat? If that is in fact my dream, what can you do? I'll help you with your two revenges. One is to revenge your grandfather. We will make those people who ridiculed your grandfather's article and take it into their hands humbly once again. Now I can't stop imagining it. I don't know who it is. So it's just Michael Jackson in my mind now. The one they trampled on, the other is revenge against the board of directors for trampling over the syndrome research, which has an emotional connection to your promise with your grandfather simply because of the faction conflicts. It's a revenge on the filthy pigs who tried to trample not only on your articles but on your life as well. Revenge against the board of directors and have them read my grandfather's article. We'll be honest with you too. We're helping you because our interests are the same. We can't allow the project that Koizumi-sensei established for the sake of Japan's future to be eaten up by those lowlifes after his death. If we had more power, we wouldn't have allowed these lowlifes to become involved. However, the wind direction changed and the project will no longer return to Koizumi-sensei's ideal. It has become a pigsty to satisfy their own desires. Koizumi-sensei, who gave the name Alphabet Project, would not have wished for the project to remain this way. The project should have been foiled up when it deviated from Koizumi-sensei's ideals. Are you trying to make sacrifices? Or are you trying to make the sacrifice sheep of the faction conflicts into a wolf now? If you choose to keep your grandfather's article hidden away in your heart, then I won't force you. No, I won't let that happen. I don't mind falling to the ground myself, but at least my grandfather's article. Don't you want to make the article that's a materialization of you and your grandfather's lives into something eternal? Because that's your dream, right? That's right. That is my purpose to live. You're not gonna ask any questions. I wouldn't answer any of these ladies' questions until I was like, who are you? Like, I understand that she's like different. Like, we're not of the same mental state. Like, Takano's obviously crazier than I am. But like, I don't know, I feel like if I met someone that asked me into their car and then started revealing all this information about me that I had never shared with anybody else. I'd be very confused. I would ask all the questions. I wouldn't answer anything. I don't know if I'd even get in the car. I'd be like, yeah, I'm good. Bye. And then I admitted myself as a loser in life and drowned myself in tears and alcohol after being abandoned by everything. I meet someone who could be either an angel or a devil. Is it assistance from heaven or the whispers of a devil? I fought with the board of directors regarding the continuation of the research, but that was completely off the target. That wasn't my true objective. My objective isn't to continue the research of the Inamizawa syndrome. It is to have the world acknowledge my grandfather's research. Somehow the method to achieve that swapped places with my objective and caused me to misunderstand myself. My life doesn't exist to continue my grandfather's research. It exists to relieve my grandfather's regret for the sake of revenge. This woman is saying she promises to make my grandfather's research an eternal one, and she also promises to take revenge against those who laughed at it. When Father Koizumi-sensei died, I thought that God was playing around before he let me die, but is that what it said? Did I just read that? Oh no, playing around with me with his die. But my strong will gathered the power that's more powerful than the die. So maybe this meeting was with a reason. Damn it, God, you're testing me again with your die. I will overcome the death of Father Koizumi, and I will let my grandfather become an eternal existence, and I will revenge the God who tested me. I will. For sure. I will take revenge. Wow. So these squares are going to be a lot longer than the other squares. Can we save mid thing? Because I kind of want to start another one because we're at 36. I feel like I can complete one before we hit the 50 mark. I mean, my goal is to kind of get that done. We can do this one now. The board game board must be set up. Let's just crack some stuff. They've been focusing like heavily on Takano Mio for a while, so if we do that one, there's definitely going to be another Takano Mio. I'm gonna crack all of these because I know that they all can't be connected just yet. Yeah, I just want to see what I am able to do later on. I'm guessing that this one probably can though. Oh no, it can't. Good. Okay, that's fine. So we know exactly what we need to do on that page, and then this page only has 2. And both of them cannot be cracked, so we have to go in order from Takano Mio all the way across. Okay, cool. Here we go. We'll start this one. With this, do I have all 58 pieces lined up for the 58th year of the show era? Sure isn't a hard and exhausting job just to line up the pieces for the month of June of the 58th year of the show era, but finally I'm at the start line. I'm at 0. Seeing all the colorful pieces. Obviously many thoughts were gathered just in that month. I think it like took me a month. It took me like a month and a half to do. So that's interesting. We did this real time. I used to think that the thoughts of people who aren't related to me were useless, but I was wrong. Ruke Rita did her best to overcome the fate of June of the 50th year of the show era. She did 2 things. One was to get in touch with the EDA institution because she knew she would be protected there. Ironically, Takano from the EDA institution was the one who tried to kill me. But it was her best move at the time. And the other was to have the Maebara family move to Hinamizawa. Actually, it was not certain that the Maebara family would move to Hinamizawa. On the day of the tour, the lot sale, the father decided not to move in after running into us. Therefore, it was necessary for us to play in the field. It was the key for Maebara's family's move. It took me so long to find that out, though. After turning various conditions on and off repeatedly, I realized that meeting Keiichi's father at that field was key. Maebara Keiichi is a very important key that would break Rule Z, one of the chains that was binding me. He is the new and fresh wind that is powerful enough to break the old and evil customs in this village. He created many chances. He also provided me with an important clue by letting me know that a strong will and the will to believe is what's important in standing up against a powerful fate. But I wasn't the only one who wished for him. People of the Sonozaki family who wanted to wipe out the immoral habits of the village also wished for him. Sonozaki Mion vowed to herself to protect Satoko and Satoshi because she was very much bothered by the irrational exile of the Hojo family. And on the night of the Hojo Satoshi disappeared, she exploded on Sonozaki Oryu and voiced her strong thoughts. Sonozaki Oryu understood. Oryu herself has come to understand about the evil custom of the village and has been wanting to do something about it. But she didn't have the power to do anything about it, so she entrusted the new wind to the new wind that was coming from the outside. That's why the lots went on sale so the Maebara family could move in. Even if I danced in the field, if Oryu hadn't put the lots on sale, Keiichi couldn't have come. And Ryugu Rena, who provided many important chances for Maebara Keiichi, was saved by coming back to Hinamizawa, although she was hurt deeply by their parents' divorce, which led to her terminal condition. Maebara Keiichi's wish to reset and start over his life is the same wish Ryugu Rena had a year ago. Maybe that's why Rena was able to understand Keiichi. It's like using one of the memories to recognize an event of another piece. If a lesson learned in one piece is used in another piece, then humans will make mistakes. The game pieces showed their best moves, and the chance of winning the game of the 58th of June of the 58th year of the Showa era will increase rapidly. In other words, Ryugu Rena makes extremely important moves unintentionally. This powerful rule Z that surrounded the Hojo siblings was eventually smashed by their great actions. Of course, Satoko overcoming herself mentally was also a big help. The hands only met because they reached from both sides. Keiichi and Rena are the ones who taught me that. Mion is the one who made it possible for them to move here, and she also helped them to become familiar with the village. That's not all. EDA is also an important piece of the significant thoughts and functions. Feeling empathy for Satoko, he is the most influential piece on the board we call the Hinamizawa Syndrome. His existence is capable of defeating Rule X. Keiichi and Rena's determination by awakening taught us that it was possible to fight against Rule X, but they didn't defeat it. Defeating Rule X requires the existence of EDA, who has a strong will to discover a cure for the Hinamizawa Syndrome. I didn't know EDA had this many thoughts within him. I always thought he was rather absent-minded, but he is in fact an important and powerful piece. If we gather all this power, then we can win, or can we win against Takano's will? I've seen Takano's thoughts too. They're strong and can't be broken easily. No matter how we fight, it's obvious the fate of June of the 58th year of the Showa era won't be broken that easily, because she has far more thoughts than what I've gathered. The weight of our game pieces are different, because I have given up on fighting while she has been risking her life to fight on. I'm sulking and getting drunk with wine to escape from reality. I must be a very light piece indeed. I can't win against Takano with what I have so far. I need more pieces to be able to win. Uishi from the police department once showed that there's a possibility of him becoming a strong ally, but he has been misunderstanding that the Sonozaki family caused the death of his dear friend, so until that gets resolved, he won't be my ally. I don't understand how I can resolve that misunderstanding, but I just have to believe in it and keep throwing the die. Just like Keiichi and Rena constitute a chance to change the fate, maybe Akasaka has the power to change or create a chance too. The curse of the 58th year of the Showa era is the curse of Hinamizawa. A curse can't be beaten by a power from within. It needs a power from outside as well. Both sides have to reach out, otherwise the hands won't meet, just like what happened with Satoko. But Akasaka has never come to our help. Even if he did, it was always too late. Too late. Way too late. But if I keep throwing the die, would Akasaka's game piece show up as my ally? The final rule, Rule Y, is the evil masterminds who are using Takano as a game piece. To defeat them, I need a very strong game piece. That powerful game piece is none other than Akasaka from the police headquarters in Tokyo. There are more pieces who would lend their power. I need to gather them all, otherwise I can't win against Takano. The preparation of the board game is done. But I need more pieces. Everything is just starting. We got all our game pieces set, dude. We're about to go into the end game. Alright, so these are a little bit longer. I don't know. I mean, they feel like they're a lot longer than the normal ones, maybe? But we can start clicking on all these. Look at this. Oh my god. Can't click on any of this. Imagine that's going to be the very, very end. We'll kind of finish this up here. We already completed 2, though, which is cool. We'll probably do 2 or 3 more in the next one. And then 2 or 3 more in the next one. And then I'm sure the last one's going to take a while. Because I always, like, on the last episode, I always end up playing for, like, 4 hours. Because it seems like it's going to end, but it doesn't. You know? Anyway, thank you guys so much for watching. If you guys enjoyed this episode, please hit the like button, subscribe if you haven't done so already. We're going places. We have our game pieces set. I have a feeling they're gonna drop a bomb because they didn't reveal who that person was that was in the car with the Kano, unless it was just a random government agent, which could be the case. I just think it would be a massive twist if it was actually the Sonozaki family being like, oh, blah blah blah, or well, not the family, but I guess the mom just like being weird. Because I just feel like she's non-existent, right? Like Mion talks to her grandma, and her mom is nowhere to be found. I don't know. There's a lot. There's a lot. It's like is her mom really just gone, or is she like actually out doing stuff? I don't know. Maybe she's trying to get Father Koizumi all set up. I don't know. Anyway, thank you guys. I'll see you guys in the next one, whenever that may be. And peace out.
I don't understand what's going on here.